kind of give my final thoughts on the draft. There's some rumors that the Lions are engaged with multiple teams to actually move down in the draft. I think it's a scenario where you could see them move down twice, and people want to know basically how can the Lions, smash the draft where we can go from 3 wins next year to a playoff team, which Martha basically demanded from Quinn Trisha to make the playoffs this year. Um, do I think it's possible? Yes, anything is possible. If Aaron Rodgers go down and Nick Foles go down and Kirk Cousins go back to Kirk Cousins after getting the payday, I can see it happening. What could have been the record with Matt Stafford last year? It's a lot of winnable games they lost. Washington, Dallas. This team could have easily turned it around and went 8-8, but all that was just being stupid and not tanking the year before. And this draft and this team is haunted, and the progression of Matt Patricia is haunted by not making the decision to sit Matthew Stafford 2 years ago. But hey, appreciate everybody for checking in. Let's get to it. But it's haunted by that decision. All this comes back to that very decision. Forget the Caldwell situation. We can argue that all day. But the decision not to sit Stafford back, had they set Stafford down, they probably would get Josh Allen. They would have had an edge rusher, right? And then Trey Flowers would have had somebody to get down with. And you looking at a different scenario. Stafford, if he ever gonna be healthy again, he would have been healthy off the strength of resting that year. Then last year he would have came back. They probably would have won probably 7, 8 games. And Patricia and Quinn out on the hot seat. They might have won more just adding Josh Allen to the draft, and they would have got a lot more players. They would have covered it because they would have been not number 7. They could have been 5, 4, 3 in the draft. So we wouldn't be having this situation had they just tanked, and you would have a healthy quarterback. Instead of sitting him, they played him. He hurt his back. He hurt his back again, and now they're in a situation where you don't know what you're gonna get out of Stafford next year if you don't do solidify the trenches in the line of scrimmage. So everybody think hitting the home run is. Some people think it's drafting Tua. Some people think it's taking Jeffrey Okuda or getting Chase Young. Smashing this draft, the number one priority. People say defense, 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 defense. You know what I'm saying? But as far as with the defense, it's schematic. No matter what players you got in that defense, unless you go out there and throw a line of Reggie White, John Randall, or Warren Sapp, or J.J. Watt, and then you got Julius Peppers, and you got a guy like Javon Curse on the edge, or Lawrence Taylor, and you know what I'm saying, you got that type of front four, this defense is not going to work because you got to be able to have talent in the front seven, and they don't really have talent there. You know what I'm saying? They don't have one twitchy guy that can play football for real in the front seven. They don't have one guy that you say, you know what, in Ndamukong Suh, we had to double team that guy. You know what, Sean Rogers, we had to double team that guy. Robert Brochet, we had to account for him. They don't have that guy on the line. You don't have to account for none of the guys in the front seven. Even the guys they brought in, Jamie Collins, Tavai, Christian Jones, Trey Flowers, Danny Shelton, Deshaun Hand, he was getting there, but you don't have to account for him. So you don't have to account for guys like that. It makes the game plan that much better, especially when you don't have a scheme like Jim Johnson, or you don't blitz, or you don't do no blitzes, or you don't have no exotic stunts, and you don't disguise your front seven. You don't have nothing to worry about. You can have Dion, you can have Darrelle Revis in the back end, but today's NFL, you gotta have, and it's always been this way, you gotta have a push from the front for the back end to be successful. And Jeff Okuda won't say it today. You know what I'm saying? Tua, and I'm not gonna say them obviously for next year. Taking Okuda and Tua is pretty much the same thing. What people don't understand. When I say it's the same thing, they both positions that's gonna benefit you down the line. You know what I'm saying? Okuda is not gonna come in and be the difference between 3 wins and 10 wins, even with a healthy Stafford. Okuda's gonna go on. Cornerback is a position like tight end. It take a couple years to get your feet wet. Do you see dudes that pop up and had great years like Marshawn Lattimore rookie years and Marcus Peters? Yes, because Marcus Peters had Justin Houston and Tom Holly in front of him. Made his job a lot easier. Do you have guys, Mike Salute? I don't know who else that was. I ain't trapped off the phone in a minute. Black 313 salute. So you got to understand. And then with Marshawn Lattimore, that Saints defense was pretty good with Cameron. I get him mixed up with Hayward, but Cam Jordan and that front seven they got in New Orleans, it was pretty solid. So Marshawn Lattimore was able to pretty much flourish because they had great front sevens. Jalen Ramsey was able to flourish in Jacksonville because they had an all-pro front seven damn near. Calais Campbell, maybe they may not have been technically all-pro, but Malik Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Talvin Smith, Miles Jack, and Ngakoue was coming into his own. So it's a lot different. You have to be able to build your team from the front to the back. But the number one priority for the Detroit Lions is protecting Matthew Stafford and running the ball. That's over anything else you can talk about the team. They had top defenses. They had top passing offenses. They had the best kickers. They had okay punters. They had great kick returners. You know what I'm saying? They had one of the greatest receivers to play all time. And drafted multiple tight ends. You can keep going on and on. But the one thing they haven't been able to do is run the ball. And then only thing that take priority over running the ball is protecting Matthew Stafford because of the back. So if you're going to roll with Chase Daniels as your backup quarterback, you got to protect him. So you got to find you a tackle, at least a right tackle that can kick the left tackle next year. Because Taylor Decker not going to be able. He's just physically not able going to be the left tackle they need. So they got to find a right tackle or a left tackle this year that can play left. Eventually. So tackle and probably a guard in the first 3 or 4 rounds they got to do. If they can move down and get multiple ones and multiple twos or something like that, that's cool because you can still get Okuda if you want them. And then you still can get Cesar Ruiz if you want them. You know what I'm saying? Or another guard prospect. Or I think the tackle from Alabama is moving up the boards. And I've been lost a little bit in the draft this year, but you got to find you a tackle. The only problem I have with Tristan Wirfs is that he's going to be your right tackle. And then some people saying he may be a guard. So your best left tackle prospect is the guy from Alabama, I believe it is. But I like the Bakari guy. He might slide later in the draft. If you get 2 ones, or you can move up from the second to the bottom of the first, or you might, due to the drug problem, he may slide all the way to you in the second round. I'm all for him. His athletic ability, his size, he got potential. You can put him at the right side, and you won't have no drop off from Rick Wagner. You can slide Big V on the inside, and then later in the draft you can find you a guard. But if you can lead the first 2 or 3 rounds with a left tackle prospect and a guy like Cesar Ruiz that can play center and guard, you can plug Ruiz at left guard and he can back up Frank if he get injured. You can leave with a left tackle prospect that can play right. I mean, I think the Lions' weakness just went to a serious strength, and they have to build and they have to gel eventually. But eventually, the left tackle prospect from Louisville, he can kick the left next year or later this year. You know what I'm saying? And then your only decision to make is, do we draft a right tackle prospect later in the draft, like the kid from North Carolina, and just build him up? Or next year, do we take another right tackle? Or do Terrell Crosby, is he good enough to play right tackle at that point? So the offensive line is something that they have to take care of in this draft, protecting Stafford with a back injury, and also offensive line that can open up some holes. People say, well, they did have some games with no sacks last year. True, but it wasn't the ideal situation. They have to open up holes for the backs. And I think they have to be able to open up monster holes for the running backs because it seemed to be a lid or a curse on the Detroit Lions running game. So if you can, upgrade your run game and upgrade your pass blocking first, that's what I would do, because Stafford is the number one asset you have to protect if you don't plan on taking a Hurts or a Fromm. I don't like neither one of them. Or another quarterback at Easton or the one from Washington State. Or, you know what I'm saying, because there may not be a left tackle. There may not be a college football season next year. People sleeping on that. Make sure I hit the like button. He said, if we trade the 5 and 2 available, would you take him? I don't think he would be available, but it's a good chance he could be available. I'm all for taking him because I don't see Quentin Trisha saving their job this year. I don't see it. Trade for Joe Thuney. I mean, I feel like you should have signed Jack Conklin over him. I mean, you still got Trent Williams out there. I don't think that's a great fit. I think you want to go younger at left tackle. Now, if you told me that you was going to get rid of Taylor Decker, you want to cut him or whatever, or trade him, then I would say, okay, maybe Trent Williams. can come in, but you got to pay him, and he been out, and he almost lost his life behind his medical issue in Washington. But the offensive line is something they got to take care of first. People say defense, 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 defense. You know, they got to take care of Stafford. If Stafford is going to be your guy, people calling in 97 on a ticket. Oh, Stafford is going to be the quarterback for the next 5 years. If you want that to happen, you got to take care of him, and you got to run the ball. And the running game going to help the defense out. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help Stafford out. So they got to take the offensive line is priority one. Forget the defense. People say defense. The biggest problem with defense is not talent. The biggest problem with defense is the guy who is the puppeteer of the defense. He not aggressive. He a beta male. He don't have any exotic blitzes. He was like that in New England. You know what I'm saying? He want to rush 4 or rush 3 and play coverage. You can't do that. He want to play a bend don't break. Sometimes you got to get aggressive. Sometimes you got to call a blitz. Sometimes you got to shoot motherfucking Jared Davis up the middle. But he don't want to do that. He want to sit back and play man and 2 men under, you know, maybe a robber here, single high, double this guy. You know what I'm saying? He just so stuck in his ways as far as playing man. That worked in New England because Bill Belichick had a system in play. You know, Tom Brady was a huge factor on that defense working because, you know, Tom, every time he go up the field, Tom probably going to get you 3. He going to get you 6. He going to get you 7. He going to get you 8. Tom going to march up the field and do his thing. That's a fact. You know, Tom going to ball so hard. So when you got the mental pressure of an offense that your defense can't stop, now offensively you start taking chances. You start throwing into double coverage. You start, you know, you go 3 and out and you're in trouble, so you playing from behind. So they able to play coverage in the back end. But if you're able to stop Tom Brady and get out there in New England, you can beat New England, you know, with Tom Brady. But their run game was really good. They ate up a lot of clock. So when the other offense came out there, they had to rush. They panicked. So that defense pretty much worked for them. So people got to understand, man, when you talk about, oh, we need defense. No, you need a new scheme. You need a new puppeteer. The guy that's pulling the strings of Pinocchio is just not a good defense. It's too much pass rush. It's too much, you know, coverage. It's like you playing Madden and you dropping everybody into coverage and you rushing 3 every time. Eventually, you know, somebody gonna work the pocket, somebody gonna manipulate the pocket, roll out, and they gonna break, and they're gonna break the pocket, and you know, they gonna just go to sandlot football and they gonna score. So people talking about the defense, can't nobody play man coverage 99.9% of the time and be successful. Just not gonna happen. You know, so defensively, you got to change your scheme. But, you know, if it's between Okudah and Brown, I got to take Okudah, man. Because he going to have more of an impact. Brown is just a first and second down player. He don't penetrate the pocket at all. But, you know, it's a lot of different ways they can go. But like I said before, it's offensive line for me. You know, defense, you know, then comes second. They got to be able to rush some guys. On defense, they got to change a lot, man. Defense gonna change with Matt Patricia. People talk about Scott Pasqualoni and what's the new offensive coordinator, Udalin. They're gonna talk about him, but it's all about Patricia. It's his defense. It's what he want to do. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I appreciate it. It's all about him. If Patricia come out and be more aggressive and call more blitzes and, you know, mix in more zone coverage. The only reason they played zone last year is because they had injuries. He got to be able to call more cover 3s, cover 2s, cover 4s. He got to be able to disguise coverages. He got to play more, you know, spies and robbers and you know, single high. You know, he plays some single high, but he just don't throw no blitz behind him. When you play man coverage, you got to be able to get pressure. And a lot of people that play man coverage, they send in 5 behind that, at least 5. You know what I'm saying? He got his corners pressing a lot of the times. And ain't no pass rush. You know what I'm saying? You can't press and not have no pass rush. You can't press and not want to blitz. Because what you do when you press, you trying to disrupt the rhythm of the route. So if I can hold up the play by pressing successfully pressing a corner or a tight end, a receiver or a tight end, and I can disrupt him for a second, you know what I'm saying? That can make him go to a second read. By that time, I'm hoping that we apply some pressure, he throw it away, he make a bad decision, he throw a pick, or we get a sack. But if I'm pressing, we playing bump and run across, and we ain't rushing number 3 or 4, and we, let's say we drop back and we drop under the tight end that's doing a crossing route or a drag, we take that away. Well, ain't no pressure coming. So once he done threw the route off, now the receiver is back on track. You know what I'm saying? Now he got time to, run the dig, run the out, run the post, run the corner, run the post corner. It defeats the purpose. So when you playing bump and run, you gotta be able to get pressure there. That's the point of bump and run. That's why when people they blitz, they usually bump and run unless they disguise and they bag off. You know what I'm saying? That mean that when that play come, when they disguise and they backing off his corners, and then they send a disguised pressure they don't like is coming. They send pressure, then the corner just trying to jump the route. You see what I'm saying? So you kind of back off when you blitz to disguise the pressure that's coming. If they playing up and they showing blitz, it's a lot of times in the NFL they'll bail. They'll bail out, and then you got zones and you got coverage underneath, and then the quarterback think a blitz coming, he make a quick, he go to his hot, and then he make a bad throw with a pick coming the other way. Patricia does none of that. You know what I'm saying? Patricia just straight up and down. You know what we doing. We playing man across. We might have a robber, single high. We might have 2 men under. We might have to drop the middle linebacker in the zone and have a single high. You know exactly what he's doing, so you don't have to really think about what he's doing. It's basically us, our DBs and the linebackers in coverage versus them. So when they run their route, you know what I'm saying? It's us versus them. You're in the quarterback. If the quarterback throw a bad ball behind them, we got to capitalize on it. Or we got to beat the receiver to the spot or the pass catcher to the spot. So that's the thing about it. When you play that type of coverage, if your 3 or 4 that's rushing not getting there, is if your corner better than his receiver. And on a good day, on a good field, the receiver always got the advantage. If it's route running, it's polished, but off rip because he know where he going. We know what beat man. If he backing off, I can call a curl or a quick out. If he playing tight, you know what I'm saying? We could put a receiver in motion and then he can't bump. Or we could do a rub route. Or I can bet on my corner because there ain't no pass rush to I bet on my receiver to beat the corner, and beat him on a post or beat him on a slant or beat him on a double move or beat him on the whip, beat him on the speed out. You see what I'm saying? So it's your corners and safeties and linebackers that's in coverage versus they pass catchers. So that's what it really boiled down to. And I don't think they got to tell him. You seen Keenan Allen had a good day versus Darius Slay. And Darius Slay was getting killed, but Darius Slay did a good job. Next week he went off. Have you seen Antonio Gibson from Memphis? He is ridiculous. One of the polarizing highlight reels I've seen. Oh, what'd he play? I ain't seen him. He said if we trade back and get a second first pick. That's a good question. Let me know what Antonio plays so I can check him out. If they do move back and get a second first round pick, like I said before, so y'all can ask questions. I'll take them as they come right now. You can trade back and get multiple second round picks. You can trade back and get a third and fourth in the first next year or something like that. You can get a second and a first next year. So depending on when that first round pick landed, you can do a lot with that. You know what I'm saying? You could take a first round, your late first, and your second and move up. Halfback receiver. I haven't really watched Memphis in a minute, bro. I'll check them out. But you can fill your offensive line out that way. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Cesar Ruiz, you get them late in the early second, late first. You can do a lot of things. You can get Jonathan Taylor if that's what you like. You can get one of those receivers. Jerry Jeudy might fall if you like. That's a luxury pick because they got a few middle round picks. So that second first round pick, you can take the best available. So if you feel Okudah is Okudah is the best available, let's say Kinlaw, you can get Kinlaw with your second round pick. That's perfect because you helped your front end and your back end. So he said good Kissick replacement, lots like Theo Reddick. I like the kid from Appalachian State, Drayton. I can't pronounce his name. Drayton, Aiden, or whatever. And I like the other Zach Moss. I really think Zach Moss is that deal. He don't run he don't have no game speed of 4.65, whatever the That kid is remind me of Marshawn Lynch. If you put him under center with Stafford under center behind him, he can make jump cut. He remind me just of Marshawn Lynch. He's shifty, and Zach Moss is a guy that I hope they get. And I hope they get the other running back from Appalachian State. They're a good one too. I'm not high on Johnson. I'm not high on Scarborough. And I'm not high on Kerryon Johnson no more. So my mock draft, I drafted two running backs. It's just the way it felt, but I said I would do that. Have you seen Lynn Bowden? What he play? Like I said, I've been out the loop. I seen that one linebacker that Ohio State that's moving up. What's his name? Vontez Mack. They said that Cleveland could be trying to trade in the top 5 for him, so it could be smoke or not smoke. But I heard that Matt guy, whatever his name from Ohio State, he moving up the boards. I wish he was working for the Detroit Lions. They suck. I think Bob Quinn here to fucking sabotage the Lions. I truly do. But I looked at a few guys yesterday, man, trying to get caught up, man. And I like the kid from Appalachian State, Zach Moss. So a few other guys I like. I always like Fred. What's going on? I like Dale Pitt. Always liked him coming in. It's a few guys out there I like. I like the kid from South Carolina, Kinlaw. I like him a lot. I like Jerry Jeudy. I like CeeDee Lamb. I like Thaddeus Moss later on for a team that looking for a tight end down the line. So it's a lot of good talent. I like Justin Herbert. I might be in the minority there. Who else is there? He said he plays everything. He's like a black Taysom Hill, just faster. He played for Kentucky. Oh man, it ain't gonna work in Detroit. And salute, it ain't gonna work in Detroit. Shit like that, like Isaiah Simmons. We could talk about Isaiah Simmons for a minute. I just don't like Valenti. Just convinced me like I don't think Matt Patricia is gonna utilize him the right way. He might end up like Mark Barron. Salute. He might end up like Mark Barron. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're gonna lose Isaiah Simmons the right way. But I like the talent though. You know what I'm saying? If he go to a franchise that can utilize him, but you need guys like Isaiah Simmons to help you against Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. And that's why, what's the dude? That's why, New England struggled with mobile quarterbacks last year. They front end too slow. They front seven is just too slow. That's why they struggle. They struggle with mobile quarterbacks. When they're able to break the pocket, they don't have nobody can spot. Dante Hightower, he okay. They got rid of all. They don't like speed with Variable and Teddy Bruschi. They'll get fried by some of the quarterbacks today. That's why they struggle with Tannehill a little bit. They play very, very conservative. You play your lane, you play your gap, and you push up field. And with Tannehill, he was able to manipulate the pocket enough and make throws down the field. That defense will forever struggle with Russell Wilson. They'll forever struggle with Deshaun and Lamar. Every team they lost to last year had a mobile quarterback. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Texans, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore. They're going to struggle with that style. Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee. They're going to struggle with that style for a long time. And Tom Brady knew what he was doing getting out the AFC. All the killers was in the AFC. Had Andrew Luck still been healthy and available, it'd have been a problem. All the best quarterbacks in the NFC minus Russell Wilson. In the AFC, minus Russell. And then, you looking at the quarterbacks that's still trying to prove themselves in the NFC, they all mobile. From Carson to Dak, to Kyler Murray, who coming. You know what I'm saying? Trubisky was able to become solid. He mobile, but he done. The NFC South is the safe haven with Teddy Bridgewater. He ain't mobile. Matt Ryan ain't mobile. Tom Brady ain't mobile. Drew Brees ain't mobile outside the pocket. But you look at any of them other divisions, Kyler Murray in the NFC West, NFC East, you got Daniel Jones he functional mobile, but Wentz and Prescott, and then Aaron Rodgers in the North. So it's gonna be some. You gotta be able. You can't play that Patricia Patriot defense in the league no more, unless you're gonna have a Lawrence Taylor or Isaiah Simmons or Talvin Smith or Miles Jack. You gotta have some speed up front. You gotta have somebody that can track down those quarterbacks sideline to sideline. But I know they don't like Simmons because He ain't big enough. You know, they're not gonna play him at safety. They want to play him at linebacker. And Patricia like big, strong linebacker. And what kills me is they get all these big, strong, slow defensive linemen, right? And linebackers, and they can't stop a nosebleed. I can hand Mike the damn ball and he gonna get 5 yards. They can't stop a nosebleed. They got all these 350-pound dudes and 250-pound linebackers, and they getting trucked for first down. That's what blows my mind, bro. If you're gonna be big, you gotta be strong. Same thing with New England last year. All them big ass linebackers and Derrick Henry trucking the whole defense up and down the field. What's the point of being big and strong if you're gonna get trucked by every running back and you can't catch nobody? That's what blows my mind. And make sure the like button with this defense. You got all these big, strong, 300, slow fucking D linemen like Trey Flowers and Damon Harrison. He said he wasn't a fit. They try to make him play the 3 technique. That's another conversation we can have on another day. You want a big run stopper that play the 3 technique. The 3 techniques are Warren Sapp, Gerald McCoy, guys like that, twitchy guys that get up the field and rush the passer. You can get Ndamukong Suh to play it. You know, Nick Fairley, when he was at his best, can play it. Shaun Rogers, big ass, can play it because he was an exceptional athlete. But big ass Damon Harrison, who been in the league, you asking him to play the 3 technique? Come on, man. That's like expecting a fat motherfucker to run a marathon or a sprinter to run a marathon. You know what I'm saying? That's the stupidest thing of all time. That's like asking me to have my Impala instead of my Kia truck to drag a boat or drag a big ass boat to the lake. It's not gonna happen. This team just ain't too smart, bro. Simmons said he can fit any system. Yeah, he can say he fit any system, but Matt Patricia messed it up. He said Gibson is 6'1", 230 with 416 reps. Okay, hold on. He said I could live with Simmons being a Tampa 2 middle linebacker. Yeah, like Urlacher and Derek Brooks. Urlacher was a safety. Simmons is a dog. We need more dogs in the D. Lions got a bunch of linebackers that's scared to tackle. That's what killed Albert Haynesworth's career. He was stumping dudes out too. That's how he got to Washington. Derrick Henry trucks down everyone. What's the point of being big if he trucking down 4 or 5 of them? What's the point? Like, damn, if it's 2 or 3 y'all don't Henry, y'all should be able to get him down. But do y'all trust Matt Patricia to find a spot for Isaiah Simmons? Because Deion Buchanan was the same type of guy coming to the league as Mark Barron. They were safeties that could play linebacker. And really, neither one of them found a good fit in the league. They tried to do that with Miles Killebrew. They wanted him to be the joker, safety and linebacker, and he really never found his fit as a linebacker. So I just don't trust the Lions to find a proper fit. He supposed to say that. When you get hired at a job, you know, let's say you go to Walmart and say, you know, you gonna tell them what you can't do? Oh, I can do that. I can stock shelves. I can do the cash register. I can get the buggies. I can be management. I can clean them. You're going to tell them, yeah, I can do it. Until you start doing it and really don't want to do it, you know what I'm saying? Or really, you know, you're going to fake it till you make it. So, like I said before, you know, he supposed to say, I can do this. I can do that. Or, you know, he ain't going to say, I can't. They can say, I can line. Hey, can you play the 3 technique? Oh, I really don't want to, but I can do anything you want me to do as long as you draft me. He supposed to say that. But yeah, he can play. Isaiah Simmons can play the nickel. He can play outside linebacker. He can play inside in the Tampa 2. He can play strong safety. He can play some free safety. You know, he can do a lot of different things. But that can hurt you, you know, doing things good. What do you do exceptional? What do you do great? But in the Tampa 2 system, he'd be perfect. He'd be perfect. Down there with the LSU boy they got down there, Devin, whatever his name, Devin White. And they got Levante David down there. He'd be great in that system, even though they already got their 2 linebackers. He'd be great. You know, the benefit of having him is you can keep him on the field in nickel and dime situations. In nickel situations, he can cover receivers. He can blitz off the edge. You ain't got to take him off the field. You ain't got to take him out and compromise, you know, probably some run support in the nickel. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to take him out. And in the dime, you can put two corners out there, and he can roam in the middle of the field. So he definitely got some. You definitely can utilize him though. Make sure I hit that thumbs up button. He said we need a guy that can cover really good. That's Simmons for a line. But then again, he don't fit what they do at linebacker. He don't fit what they do at linebacker. That's a fact. They want guys to come downhill that can thump. Look at their linebacker. Who you other than Jamie Collins, and I don't know how you really cover. Who really covering like that? Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, they didn't really, they was thumpers. Calvin Noy couldn't come here and cover a nosebleed with a paper towel. But in New England, he fits, so it's all about styles. It's all about fits. He don't fit what they do. They want dudes to come downhill and thump. He'd be the only lean linebacker out there. So I want him. Don't get it twisted. I like him better than Chase Young. But for the Lions, Chase Young got to define the position. I got to take him. It's just that I just don't think, everybody said, well, CJ Matt Patricia might not be here next year. True. Somebody had another. Oh, Tampa should trade for Andrew Thomas. Should trade and get Andrew Thomas to protect Brady. Is that the kid from Alabama, the left tackle? Well, they can trade for Trent Williams. Just be the all old motherfucking team, the all senior citizen team. They might as well trade for Trent Williams. They might as well. Shit. He said Jamie does decent in coverage. Savia middle linebacker, Collins on Simmons on the outside. I can see it, but a lot of times, you ain't really going out there with three linebackers no more. If you just base 4-3, a lot of times you in the nickel. But like I said, Isaiah Simmons can play the nickel, but I just don't see him fitting their system, bro. I just don't see it. If anything, he might be a Tyrann Mathieu in this system, or Jimmy Ward, a safety nickel hybrid. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I like him. If this was a defensive scheme with, like Terrell, hold on, what's my man's name that left here with Caldwell? Y'all know what I'm talking about. My man's name. I'm looking at his name. The old defensive coordinator, I would say, yeah. Yeah, he was a better defensive coordinator than Matt Patricia. And I told y'all he was. I told Terrell Austin thank you. He was a way better defensive mind than Matt Patricia. His defenses was dope even after Ndamukong Suh left, dealing with the ingredients that he had. His defense was way better. You feel what I'm saying? And what he done, had they never took Ndamukong Suh, had they gave that man Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford to have a playoff win. Imagine Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh that year. We would have had a playoff win for sure. We would have beat Dallas. We made a lot of bad draft decisions over the last 2 years. But the worst case scenario for me, man, just I think it would be getting a run stopper, Derrick Brown. That'd be the worst case scenario, picking him at 3. I really do. Because he ain't gonna help the pass rush. So they got to get somebody that's twitchy. But at the end of the day, people got a lot of expectations for Bob Quinn. They got a lot of expectations for him, man. Every year it's the reset button. Everybody think they got a chance. Buffalo, Cleveland, Indianapolis, you know what I'm saying? And you do have a chance because, the draft is talent from top to bottom. You feel what I'm saying? It's draft from top to bottom. It's just talent. But it just seemed like we don't really find that. We don't really put it all together. One year we might do good in the 3rd and 4th round. Another year, we might not do good at all. We never put it all together. We have a solid draft where we hit on 80% of our picks. He said worst draft ever. Ebron over Donald, over Odell, over Juice Landry. He was over a lot of guys. Make sure I hit the like button. But he said if we run a 34, would have Danny or Nick Williams, Trey Flowers, Deshaun Hand, and then the middle linebacker Savia and Davis, outside Simmons and Collins. I think your inside would probably be more of Tavai and Ragland in that situation. I don't think Davis big enough to get in there and thump in the middle linebacker. I think Tavai and Ragland will be to be on inside linebackers. And I think outside, I can live with Collins can even play inside before Davis will, so I can see that happening. But I like the 43 better. It's just my personal opinion. I'm fluent in both. Steve Carl, salute. Davis is such a letdown. Yeah, I mean, see all that athletic ability, man. Y'all can keep asking questions. But yeah, I'm still of the elk. If I'm saving my job, if I'm Quinn Trisha, and I'm saving my job, I'm basically of the belief that I'm still trying to get the guys like if they can make Ngakoue fit, I'm still trying to get Ngakoue. If they can make give me 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, I got him. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. I was had a patient. My girlfriend's dad, he had a fucking doctor's appointment. So, but yeah, but if I'm still trading draft capital. So that's what I'm doing. Still trading the draft capital for the veterans if I'm trying to save my bacon. But yeah, I'm gonna be back live after the draft. Appreciate everybody, man. Make sure I hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Let me get the last. If you're on 34, you might as well trade back and get hold on. Kilavon Chesson to rush the passer. They also run some. They do both. They're hybrid. They're week to week. That's what they did in New England. But I'll be back later, man, after the draft. If they trade something before the draft, I'll let you guys know. Appreciate it. Y'all know what it is. We gone.